Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a really old practice, one that might just be the answer to some of the biggest problems we're seeing in education right now. We're going to talk about a system where the whole point wasn't just to know more, but to become more.
So the source material we're looking at today makes this pretty bold claim. It says the real crisis in our classrooms, it's not about a lack of information or not having the latest AI tutors. Nope. It's a human problem. It's about a total breakdown in our ability to actually learn, and it's leaving us with completely exhausted minds.
I know, it sounds way too simple, right? I mean, in an age of smartboards and virtual reality classrooms, could the real key to learning better just be walking? Well, that's the surprising central idea we're going to unpack today.
Okay, let's dive right into the problem here. Because this is a crisis that so many students, parents, and teachers are feeling every single day, even if they don't have a name for it. Just look at this contrast. On one side, you've got the promise of modern education, right? Smart, efficient, you can access anything. But the reality, as our source points out, is often the complete opposite. We're talking cognitive overload, skyrocketing anxiety, and a whole generation of students who are more mentally worn out than ever before.
Now here's the really crucial insight from our source. These issues, they're not bugs in the system. They're actually the predictable result of a system that's working exactly the way it was designed to. A system that's come to value grades over real meaning and a diploma over actual discernment.
And that really gets to the core of it. The problem is we're trying to install the latest, fanciest software onto hardware that is just overheating. We just keep piling on more info, more apps, more pressure, and we never stop to think about the biological and psychological state of the person who's supposed to be doing all the learning.
So if that's the problem, what's the alternative? Let's take a look at the philosophy our source material presents. It's one that completely redefines the whole purpose of education, moving it from just collecting facts to something way, way deeper.
This ancient Sanskrit phrase, it's really the heart of this whole Gurukula system. The goal wasn't just to make you smart, it was to make you free. Just imagine being able to think clearly when the pressure's on, to be free from that constant need for someone else's approval, free from confusion. That's the promise of this approach.
This has nothing to do with cramming for an exam. It's a very deliberate three-step process. First, you take in the knowledge when you're in a calm state. Then you reflect on it, you question it, you wrestle with it. And finally, you internalize it so deeply that it actually changes how you act. That's the real journey from just having information to having wisdom.
And this is so cool. This is where that ancient wisdom lines up perfectly with modern science. Neuroscience is now proving what these old systems just knew intuitively. A stressed-out mind can't learn. It's as simple as that. If a student's nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, their ability to learn, remember, and think critically just plummets. Learning has to happen in a biologically friendly environment.
Which brings us to the core practice at the heart of all this. It's a solution that's so simple, so fundamental, that we've almost completely forgotten about it in our modern sit-at-a-desk world.
This is called Chankraman. And listen, it's not just nervously pacing around your room. It is a specific, disciplined technique that basically makes your body an active partner in the learning process. It's not treating your body like a taxi for your brain, but as part of the thinking system itself.
And this isn't some kind of mystical thing. There is solid science behind why this works. Walking gets more blood flowing to your brain, it gets both sides of your brain working together for better recall, it calms your nervous system down, and it helps you lock memories in more deeply. It's basically cognitive engineering, and all you need are your own 2 feet.
This is a pretty challenging idea from our source, but it's powerful. You know, passively reading something can create this illusion that you understand it. But here's the real test. Can you access and talk about that knowledge while you're moving? Walking reveals where your learning is weak, and at the very same time, it makes it stronger. Now let's zoom out a bit, because this walking practice, Chankraman, it's not just some standalone trick, it's actually part of a much larger, holistic system that's designed for how human beings actually function, not how we wish they would.
See, the Gurukula system didn't just manage time. It worked with the body's natural energy cycles. The day was broken into 3 phases. The morning, or sattvic time, was perfect for reflective stuff like walking revision. The afternoon, rajasic time, was for high-energy problem-solving. And the evening, tamasic time, was for rest and recovery. You could think of it as a kind of ancient chronobiology.
This chart shows another key idea. Education was meant to develop the whole person. It was a balance between practical worldly skills, deep self-knowledge, and what you might call embodied intelligence. Modern education?
Well, it focuses almost entirely on that first slice, and we're definitely seeing the consequences of that imbalance.
And here's a really important point about the original purpose of yoga in this system. It wasn't about fitness. It was considered essential infrastructure for learning. Practices like asana and pranayama were seen as non-negotiable tools you needed to build a stable, regulated mind, a mind that was actually capable of learning reliably and thinking clearly.
And all of this builds up to a final, pretty provocative challenge from our source material, something you can actually go and try for yourself. It's like a simple diagnostic test for the health of your own learning.
Our source asks this really powerful question that kind of reframes the entire goal of learning. Is knowledge just something theoretical, something that lives in your notes or on a screen, or is it an embodied capability, something you carry inside you, ready to go at a moment's notice?
Now, this isn't just some random number. The research calls this a diagnostic test. If a mind falls apart the second it doesn't have a chair or a screen, then it's not really educated, it's just been conditioned. The ability to walk and think clearly for 20 minutes straight, that is the sign of a truly integrated mind.
And so, we're going to end with this simple but really powerful call to action. It's a reminder that maybe the most profound solution to our learning crisis doesn't require a new app or a subscription or asking for anyone's permission. It just requires us to stand up, to walk, and to reconnect our minds back to our bodies.